Well, the first thing we're going to start off with the Brewers Cubs. Jack, what do you think about that series?
So I was told by a friend after we put out our series locks for last week that I definitely should have put down Brewers and Cubs. And I said, it's Corbin Burnes, it's Brandon Woodruff, Freddy Peralta. You're not getting through that big three. And I said, yeah, I thought about it, but not really sure if the Brewers offense will show up enough. And I was just not enough for me to put it as a lock. Anyways, I'm glad I didn't. The Cubs take 2 of 3 from the Brewers, and that big three, the Brewers starting pitching, gave up 13 earned runs in 12.2 innings. A lot of that was Brandon Woodruff giving up 7, but Corbin Burnes looked human. Freddie Peralta looked human. And I was right. The offense struggled at some points. They got shut out in game 2, and it could have been a sweep by the Cubs, but Michael Brasso hit a home run in the 7th inning of yesterday night's game. And so they won by 1 in game 3 to avoid the sweep. But overall, not the best opening series for the Brewers. Then I think that the key point was that they looked human in the starting pitching 3 that everyone was so afraid of. And when that happens, you don't get to see guys like Devin Williams and Josh Hader come in and shut down in game winning situations.
The Brewers' success this season will be, I think, mainly upon if that starting pitching can keep up and kind of dominate, because I mean their offense, it's not one of the best offense. It's a good offense for sure, but it's not one of the best in the MLB. So they will have to rely on the starting pitching and the back end of the bullpen to win some lower scoring games throughout the season. And if you have your pitchers not showing up, which like you said, you can't hand it off to the bullpen, then it's going to be tough to win a lot of games. And but yeah, from the Cubs side, they played well. Kyle Hendricks pitched well. Marcus Stroman pitched well in his debut, even though the Cubs ended up losing that game. But Seiya Suzuki arrived. He got his first hit and then his first bomb. I believe his first bomb was yesterday. And that ball was crushed as well. So it's exciting to see what the Cubs can do. They're kind of a team that's kind of projected around to be the middle of the pack, but it'll be interesting to see what they can do this season if they do find some success and where they end up in the Central.
Yeah, I would like to talk to who had Kyle Hendricks with more strikeouts than Corbin Burnes on opening day. Not something that I necessarily projected, but I'm curious as to what you think about this Brewers offense. There's something that I brought up in the offseason when we were doing their record predictions. I just worried about how they could produce. They kind of take an approach similar to the Rays or the Giants, in which they don't have a ton of stars, but they've got chances on guys. They get production out of guys that you really wouldn't expect it to come from. But sometimes they also just can't put up the same amount of runs as some teams can. I mean, the Cubs put up 12 runs, or no, the Rangers put up 12 runs yesterday. Like, they've got some star power now, but the Brewers, one of those teams that haven't shelled out huge contracts. And with guys like Yelich struggling, and you're not going to get the production from Willy Adames every day, their offense can not produce on some days, like you see them getting shut out in game 2. So I'm curious if you're worried at all about this Brewers offense.
Definitely. And I mean, Yelich is a guy with a lot of question marks. He could be big and kind of be that star for them and carry them, or he could see what he did the last 2 seasons where he kind of struggled, and like he still had good seasons, but not star level seasons. And you're right, Willy Adames, he's good, but he's been a little inconsistent. And Brasso, I mean, he'll contribute, but he's not really there. Rowdy Tellez at first, he'll put up a few big bombs. So yeah, they're kind of a boomer bust type of team. Like, you could see all those guys kind of put it together. McCutchen as well. There's some question marks with him get the last few seasons, but there's a team. They're a team that can put it together on any given night and put up 10 runs, or they're a team that can struggle and get shut out like we saw on Saturday. So they do have a lot of question marks. And like I said, I think for this season, for them to be good and to win the NL Central, it's going to be on the pitching, the starting pitching and the back end of the bullpen. So I think that's going to be big for them. And if they struggle, I mean, it could be an ugly season, kind of a disappointing season for the Brewers. And I know it is the first weekend of the season. We had a shortened spring training, so we're not weighing too much on this opening weekend outings. But if it is something that keeps up, it might not be looking good for Brewers fans this whole season if their offense continues to play like they did this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's funny because they're built kind of the opposite way of the Cardinals, who are their biggest competition in the Central. Whereas we talk about the Cardinals, we love their offense, we love their defense. They're kind of missing out on the pitching though. And then we're talking about the Brewers, elite pitching, but we are a little worried about the offensive production. Again, you're right. First week of the season, I'm sure it'll work itself out, but they are a team that does have competition for the division, and sometimes it can come down to who puts up more runs. And I just don't think, if you're looking at the Brewers and Cardinals straight up, I don't think you're expecting the Brewers to score more runs than the Cardinals on the whole season or in particular games. So the Brewers pitching, you're right, needs to step up. If they give up a run per inning, like each of their starters, a run per inning each outing, they're not going to win as many games as I think we thought they would. I'm sure it'll come back to normal, but I think the point I was making in the offseason is I'm not sure what normal is. I'm not sure if normal is a season they had last year. It could mean they lose the Central to the Cardinals, come in second. Like, I'm still confident in the Brewers as a playoff team. Again, we still love their 3 starters, but just something to keep an eye on after 1 week.